Just say how great it is to be here in an event in person. This is such a better view than my Zoom view that I usually get. So Finovate was started with the idea of showcasing new and exciting innovation in financial services. And we've seen a lot of great ideas in technology over the past couple days. But what's that one thing that ties all of this innovation together and really makes it work? It's the data behind all this innovation, right? If you don't have access to the right data, a lot of this innovation is just for show. But probably more important than that is if you aren't great stewards of that data and compliant with it, you put consumer or business privacy at risk, and you potentially open up your organization to bigger problems than just an app not working. Many of you may have heard of the acronym ETL. It stands for extracting data, transforming it, and then loading it into a new environment. Well, today I'd like to show you Facteus's synthetic data ETL, but I'm also going to add the letter M at the end, which stands for safe monetization of that data. So Mimic is a completely configurable data transformation tool. It sits behind your firewall. You are in charge of ingesting that data into the tool. Facteus never touches or even sees the raw data. But to show you how this works, I've loaded up some transactions from the bank of the US Olympic team with athletes that just came back from Tokyo, right? So this bank wants to look at this data and analyze it and see what those insights are. But they don't want that PII information getting out there. So we're going to let Mimic synthesize this data, and then we'll do some analysis on top of it. So I'm going to save this file, and within Mimic, you have the opportunity to have these different configurations. We're going to create a new configuration, call this USOC Bank. Now, we also have the option of using all different types of data files, and we work with many financial institutions across their different transaction data. But once this data has been loaded, you now have columns that you can customize to how you want this data to be transformed. I'm going to hash all of the PII details in here. I'm going to synthesize some of the others that we can use for analysis later. And then I'm going to leave some of the non-sensitive stuff as is. And then as I review this and confirm it and I synthesize it, what Mimic is doing now is it's not only removing the PII fields in the data, but it's using proprietary machine learning algorithms to go beyond just anonymizing it. It's slightly modifying the transaction fields to create a synthetic data set that is now free from PII, safe to use, but still has value because it is 99.97% statistically relevant back to that original source. The other key thing is that this data has been viewed and deemed to be privacy compliant and can't be reverse engineered back to the original source, not even by Facteus. So now that we have this synthetic data set, we have the opportunities to now do further monetization activities. Now, there's other companies that do similar privacy-enhancing techniques, but where Facteus is different is we now partner with these organizations to enhance and prepare this data for other stuff. One of the main things we do is you can now migrate this data to the cloud. You can now take advantage of the on-demand computing capabilities, the analytical tools of any platform provider of your choice. So once this is in the cloud, Facteus's data enhancement services then take this data and really prepare it for additional use. So what we do is if you look at the transaction description, it now becomes readable. You know what the company is. The date of birth changes to a generation. MCC code is now an industry. So now you have insight-rich data that you can use for deeper analytics, product innovation, open banking testing, even data sharing. So I'd like to share with you 3 ways that Facteus has partnered with financial institutions and fintechs to safely monetize their data. One of the first examples is that data and compliance executives can now feel more free to share this data across their organization. We had a large financial institution that came to us and said it takes 6 months to get an internal approval for data to inform their product roadmap. Now through Mimic, they're actually able to get daily insights into that transaction to inform their product strategies. This is a snapshot of an organization that's looking at their different card portfolio. They can look at the spending activity, and they can also even look at revenue projections for their card programs. The second example is around machine learning and AI. Again, one thing we've learned about at this conference is data is fueling the AI, right? Well, here, this organization wanted to really understand what the consumers were doing to understand how to make their cards top of wallet. They looked at the analysis through synthetic data and machine learning algorithms and found that a lot of the transactions were actually being done at companies like PayPal, Lyft, Uber, pharmacies, and things like that, whereas their loyalty programs were focused on restaurants and gas stations. Well, through this, they were able to shift their loyalty programs, incentivizing consumers to put their card on file here, and it drove increased interchange revenue and customer loyalty across their organization. The final example I'll share with you is the most profitable for your organization today. With synthetic data, you now have a way to safely take transaction data insights outside of your organization to people that are willing to pay for those insights. So Facteus partners with multiple data providers today. We have a panel of about 20 million active payment cards. We provide this data on a regular basis to investors, consultants, corporates, government agencies that they can't get anywhere else. We even have fintechs that have come to us to test their innovations that they're showing at shows like Finovate. This is a snapshot of our Quantumatics tool. Investors are using this to look at company-level performance, they're forecasting future earnings, and really using this as an input into their models and in their investment theses. So I started this out by saying that data is really the fuel for all of the innovation we're seeing. We truly believe that, and we have examples to show that synthetic data is really the key to unlocking the value of your sensitive data. To learn more about how that can help your organization and how you can find value in your data, come visit us in the booth downstairs. As you walk in, we're the second booth on the right. Thank you.